In today's video, we're going to look at how we can make use of collocations to help a student get a high band score by improving his lexical resource. Without much ado, let's begin. First, let's take a look at the question. Some people think watching television is bad for children in everyday life. Others think it is a good way for children to get knowledge. Discuss both these views and your own opinion. For this video, we are focusing on the lexical resource of the essay. So first, please take a look at the first paragraph of the essay and see what errors you can spot. After taking a look at the first paragraph, I'm sure you have spotted a few errors in terms of the word choices here. The first one involves the first sentence when the writer says, "When it comes to children's sake." Remember, what the writer should write here instead should be "when it comes to children." And for the word sake, remember should be in combination of the word for. So you can say for the sake of something. And then people tend to argue differently. The second part of the first sentence is equally problematic. I think what the writer is trying to convey here is the meaning that people tend to hold different views in this issue. Now we move on to the second sentence, while some people feel that's exposing them on the television. So here once again, the word choice is wrong. What the writer should write instead should be, while some people feel that's exposing them to the television won't cause their children any good. And then we move on to the second part of the sentence. Others support the possibility. You can't support a possibility. You can support a certain idea, you can support a campaign, but you cannot support a possibility. Instead, you can write, others support the belief that it can widen the child's, comprehension. What the writer should write here should be widen the child's horizons, and that will be the common collocation. The last sentence in this paragraph, this essay will examine both views and explain why parents should weigh up. If you check the dictionary, you will know the phrasal verb weigh up is a transitive phrasal verb, which means it should be followed by a noun or noun phrase. And carefully decide what's best for the children. Here, something is missing. Well, I suggest the writer adds, and carefully decide what is best for the children. So, to summarize here, for the first sentence, it should be when it comes to something. So in this case, it should be when it comes to children. And then the third error in this paragraph, exposing them on, should be exposing somebody to something. Whereas the fifth one should be to widen somebody's horizons. As we move on to the second paragraph, we can see the writer is now writing about the argument against allowing children to watch television freely. Just like the first paragraph, there are a number of mistakes in terms of the word choices. So you may take a look and see whether you can spot those mistakes. I have made 4 highlights here which I think require revisions. The first one is, in this present time. While I cannot say this is wrong, I suggest using the much more simple nowadays. Some exam takers mistakenly think by using a different phrase or word other than nowadays, they can score a high band. But the truth of the matter is that it's the topic-specific vocabulary which actually counts. By switching to a different form or maybe a different function word, It doesn't necessarily show the exam taker is a more competent language user. The second highlight here is preserve their innocent minds. I think a better phrase would be preserve their innocence. And then number 3, being captivated with the idea of watching alone. Well, I would say the writer isn't making the meaning very clear with this phrase, so I think it has to be changed to a different one. The last one is worst, it can damage a good eyesight. Well, even not talking about the grammatical issue with this part here, damage a good eyesight is a very odd combination of words. So here I suggest using simple words such as their good eyesight can suffer, or you might say their eyesight can deteriorate. Now we are on to the third paragraph where the writer is talking about the benefits of allowing children to watch television. Once again, let's focus on the vocabulary choices in this paragraph and see whether you can find out the mistakes that have to be corrected. Now as we move on to the third paragraph, we can see the first mistake comes in the second line of this paragraph, where we can start from the very beginning. On the other hand, those parents who are letting their children watch television surely can see a positive outcome. Now the highlighted phrase positive outcome is wrong, because if we look at the conclusion paragraph of this essay, we can see the writer is actually taking a neutral stance on the issue. By writing a positive outcome, where it sounds like the writer is trying to tell the audience the whole idea of allowing children to watch television freely is actually beneficial, which is contrary to what he's trying to convey here. The second mistake in this paragraph is, for an instance, it's a set phrase and you can just write for instance or for example. So remember, when you say for example, for instance, it means you're giving an example or an instance to illustrate your point, and you don't have to have an article in front of the word. The last sentence, this entertainment can educate, enhance, and enlighten the comprehension of many things around. Well, if you look at the phrase educate, enhance, and enlighten, certainly you cannot pair it with the word comprehension. Rather, the writer can try something like, this entertainment can educate, enhance, and enlighten the young minds in the comprehension of many things around. In the last paragraph, the writer is concluding his ideas in this essay. Once again, please take a look and see if you can find any errors in terms of the collocations. The first error lies in the first sentence. Parents always think what's best for the children. Again, it should be parents always want what is best for the children. Here is not about thinking of something, but rather what the parents wish to achieve. So we should instead use the word want. The second mistake comes in the end of the second line here. That can really help gain important ideas. Well, first, it's not specified helping who. So you should be writing something like that can really help children to gain, well, not important ideas, but important knowledge. And then we are on to the next mistake. Well, actually, it's something that I haven't spotted first. Giving average time to spend on the television, that sounds very awkward. You can't say you give average time. Instead, you can consider writing giving a reasonable amount of time, or you can say a reasonable distribution of time between watching television as well as other activities can achieve, right, the effects, or maybe I can achieve an ideal balance. So if we look at the last mistake here, can conclude the judgment. Well, I don't know how you can conclude the judgment, because here we're not talking about a legal document, we are instead talking about an idea. Again, if I were the student, I would rewrite the whole sentence as follows. In order to strike the balance, a reasonable distribution of time between watching television and some other activities can offer a good solution to this matter. So that will be all for today's video. I hope you have learned something about how to make better use of collocations in order to score a better band in your lexical resource criterion in the writing exam. Okay, see you again next time.